All right. So let's see. Next up, we have an interview with Ashley, who is going to be our second issue speaker for the night. How are you doing, Ashley?
Hi, I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Perfect. Oh, I'm getting so distracted watching your stuff.
Oh, sorry. To be fair, I'm getting a little distracted
No,
with it too, so.
I know.
All right, so, Ashley, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? Why should we care? Nah, just messing with you.
Well, my name is Ashley Raposa. I'm a student at the University of Hawaii at Manoa, and my major is public health. And right now I'm interning at the ACS CAN with Davin, who I believe you spoke with earlier.
Yep. Cool.
Yep. So
And
I'm just here to talk about some skin cancer.
awesome. So, what is skin cancer?
So, skin cancer is basically the abnormalities of skin cells that grow and that can change over time, and it's all based on, how much sun exposure you get throughout the day, ultraviolet light, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So, typically, it's just cells that change based on UV radiation.
Okay. Why should I be worried about skin cancer? Like, we've already heard about liver cancer and breast cancer and lung cancer a lot with the e-cigarette conversation. Isn't skin cancer a lot less dangerous than those cancers?
A lot of people say that it's less dangerous, but it can be just as bad. So skin cancer does have the ability to metastasize to other organs. So even though it starts off in the skin, it can also, change, and it can those abnormal cells can go to your bone, or it can go to your lungs. It could change and add on basically these other cancers.
So a skin cancer can become a more vicious type of cancer if it's not treated.
Yeah. So the most common one is melanoma. That's the one that people are kind of like deathly afraid of because that's the worst kind.
Right.
So about one in every, let's see, three. Sorry, about one in every five people will be diagnosed with skin cancer, and many, like thousands of people die from melanoma. So it's pretty scary, but it's preventable.
Yeah, that is scary. What should I be looking for to see if I have skin cancer?
So the typical things you want to look for is, of course you look at your skin all the time. So things that you want to look for is something that's, scaly, could be red, could be irritated, something that's going to definitely, it can either bother you or it cannot bother you. So sometimes it can look like an open sore or something like a wart or disfiguring. But it could even just be like a regular mole. So moles can also change based on age. There's a lot of things that alter your moles, but things that you want to look out for is like knowing the difference between what a regular mole looks like and what a melanoma looks like. So they can be mixed up based on size, border, color. You want to make sure you look at your moles and make sure they're not bigger than a pencil eraser, or if there's many moles in one area that could be like evolving.
Mm-hmm.
That's also something to look at.
Okay.
So typically, yeah, just you always want to self-check yourself, but it's always good to have a dermatologist take a look at you at least annually or once a year, just to make sure nothing has changed or nothing looks suspicious.
Okay. What can I do to prevent skin cancer? Like, if I just want to, I know I can just avoid the sun, which I obviously do. If you look at me, I obviously don't go out much. But what all can I do?
Yeah, so there's many things that you can do. Of course, sunscreen is definitely the biggest way to prevent yourself from developing skin cancer. But there's also a lot of rules that apply when it comes to sunscreen. So you always want to make sure, you apply it 15 minutes prior to the sun. You want to make sure you, excuse me, get a broad spectrum sunscreen. You want to make sure it's at least water resistant with the SPF of 30 or higher. Typically, SPFs of 15 or lower, they don't last as long, so
Hmm.
you're more likely to burn.
Right.
Um, and then you also want to apply it on all exposed areas, of course. So I know some people, like, they go out, they only put on their face and they put on like their arms and legs, but they don't put on their feet or they don't put on their hands.
Or their
So
ears.
typically, or their ears, exactly. And melanoma develops behind the ears, and skin cancer can develop behind the ears too. So it's really important to get all areas that are exposed.
It's true.
Yeah. So, and then on top of sunscreen, another way to prevent it is even the clothing that you wear day to day can help prevent skin cancer. So, like, of course, jeans would be the best option, but there's also other fabrics that can either absorb sunlight or it can reflect sunlight. So, common fabrics like cotton or linen are they're natural fibers that absorb the UV radiation versus like rayon, which is kind of like that shiny sheer material that reflects UV. But most importantly, the thicker the knit, the more likely it is to prevent you from developing these skin cancers.
Okay.
Um, and then, of course, the last few is, wear a hat when you're out, seek shade. So find if you're out in a park, at least sit under like a tree versus sitting outside under direct sunlight. Or like even wearing sunglasses can prevent skin cancer. So they have been people that have developed melanoma behind their eyes. So it's kind of interesting that skin cancer can develop within the eye.
You say interesting, but it sounds like it's pants crappingly terrifying, actually.
That's pretty scary, but it is more of the rare sites of melanoma, but
Yeah.
it still happens. Yeah.
I will wear my shades forever now. I'll wear them indoors. I don't care. I can bump into things in the night.
Yeah, and they even make like prescription glasses too that have the preventative UV protection.
Yeah.
Like that's in the prescription, so
Yep.
it's pretty cool too.
I've got a pair of aviators like that. They're actually really stylish,
Yeah.
just not indoors.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit more about sunscreen. I've been hearing a lot about sunscreens lately, especially here in Hawaii and their relationship to the coral reefs. What should I be using, and what should I avoid?
Okay, so there are two types of sunscreens. There's chemical sunscreens and there's physical sunscreens. So the ones that typically deal with coral reef, so there's a ban, there's a bill out, it's called SB 2571, and it's basically Hawaii that we're banning sunscreens that contain oxytonate and oxybenzone starting January 1st of 2021. And these are chemicals that help absorb the UV light into your skin. So technically chemical sunscreens, there are other chemicals other than those two, but basically the pros about it or why people like these chemical sunscreens is because it's broad spectrum, it's easy. These are the typical sunscreens that have it's sprayable, it's very convenient. They absorb into the skin a lot easier compared to physical sunscreens. So these type of sunscreens don't leave like a white residue on your face, right? And the way that it works is that the chemical absorbs into your skin, and it changes the sun radiation into heat, and then it reflects the sun that way. So that's how it prevents you from getting sunburn. So, but there are some cons to it, because it's being absorbed into your skin in that sense, you do have higher internal temperatures that could cause sunspots or brown spots versus actual sunburns. And then especially with this one, it's because it's a little bit more oily, has a more oily texture, it can cause acne for a lot of people. But physical sunscreens, this is the ones that like make your skin turn white, or like it's very thick, goopy. A lot of people don't like it because it doesn't settle into the skin well. So a lot of people prefer the sprayable sunscreens. So with physical sunscreen, it's, if you think about it, it's a legit physical sunscreen. It's, if you put it on your skin, and it prevents the sun from entering your skin. So it reflects off of this white cast, we'll say. But basically, people don't know that it is broad spectrum. It will protect you from UVA, UVB. It's effective immediately because it is a physical based. So physical sunscreens, a lot of people know them as zinc oxide or titanium dioxide. Those are the two most common. And, you know, they do sell them pretty, or I would say 50-50, like the physical sunscreens, but a lot of people can't get over the white cast. And a lot of the myths are like, you know, you have to reapply if it gets wet, or, you know, you sweat it off and whatnot. So that's why there's rules to apply when it comes to applying sunscreen. That's why you have to, you know, put it on 20 minutes before so that it can have some time to sit on the skin, you know? And also, like, the one downfall with this one is that you can miss a spot. So because it's not chemically changing underneath your skin. So say like you're putting sunscreen on your back. If you miss the middle of your back, you're still going to get burned. Versus the spray sunscreens, if you spray your back, you're most likely not going to miss a spot.
Right.
So you're totally going to get burned if you miss a spot with your physical sunscreen.
That's totally fair. But, I mean, fortunately, I'm already super pasty and white, so I don't really got to worry about the film effect.
Well, that's good. Then you should buy physical sunscreen because it's reef safe and it doesn't cause coral bleaching. That's like the main reason why.
And that's why chemical sunscreens are being banned here, right? Because of the reef bleaching?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Is there any hopes of that ban being applied outwards to other states or even countries? Like, Australia is right now super concerned because the Great Barrier Reef looks like it might bleach out in the next couple years, and it might just reach a state of irreparable damage due to the acidity of the water. Is this something that could help that, or is this like just too inconsequential a measure for something as drastic as the Great Barrier Reef's bleaching?
You know, I think on a personal view, I feel like coral bleaching could be, you know, a consequence for many things, not just chemical sunscreens. But I think because Australia, you know, the radiation there, the UV light there is so strong that, you know, there are many cases of people that have had melanoma, who died from melanoma, especially there.
Right.
But I think that I'm not sure actually if they have a ban in place regarding this, but I don't think it would harm them, especially because, you know, they're similar to an island just like us. We're a lot smaller, but, you know, they're surrounded by reefs as well.
That's fair. So, about this chemical sunscreen ban and about the benefits of physical sunscreen, what can we do to educate others, especially children, about the necessity for using physical sunscreen going forward? Like, children are especially the hardest one because, like, I know for diet, for example, kids don't choose what their parents feed them. So how do we get people to advocate for themselves in, you know, reliable access to physical sunscreen, but also kids to advocate to their parents?
Right. So, one thing that ACS CAN has allowed me to do was to go out into the community and to share a PowerPoint presentation to middle school students. And the reaction I got was actually, it's very interesting. So I noticed that a lot of the pros that kind of happened was, you know, I was able to broadcast my message based on a middle school language, I guess you could say. So, you know, making it relatable to children is extremely hard on its own. You can't really explain like medical terminology, or you can't really say metastasize. They just look at you funny. They don't know what that means.
Right.
So really having the certain language to, get across that message is really important. So that was one of the challenges I actually had, was making it kid friendly for them to understand, why the sun was bad, what actually causes the skin cancer, and how can you prevent it, and how can you take these steps, and for the rest of your life, and to educate you and your family. But another thing was having a lot of props. So when I talked about clothing, I had it physically in front of them to know what was actually good and what was not good. And it's funny because I actually asked them why they don't like to wear sunscreen, or why they think like sunscreen is not a cool thing to do. And a lot of people, if you think about it, why is sunscreen not cool to do when you're an adolescent? Why when you're a middle school or high school kid, And no one could give me an answer, but none of them wore sunscreen. So it was very interesting. So even when I got across, particularly the females, I think I really hit a home run with, because there's a statistic that, sunscreen prevents you from getting skin cancer by 50%. That's how much it prevents you. But it also prevents skin aging by 25%. So I would just show a picture of this super, no offense, but super saggy old lady, right? And they would just be like, oh my gosh, let me put this sunscreen on right now.
Yep.
And then luckily we had samples, and then right before they left the class, they were deathly afraid of the sun, and they applied sunscreen to their face before they exited the classroom. So I think I really got the message across. In a sense, using like things that, when it comes to beauty and their skin and face and tanning and whatnot, especially living here in Hawaii.
Yep. Look at the surf uncles in their 40s with like super leathered skin.
Yep, exactly. So, showing those pictures really have an impact on them. And I think that's what really helped kind of get that message across, like why you don't want it.
Yep. Just guess this person's age. 63? No, they're 47.
Yeah. It's really bad.
Yeah.
It's really, really bad. And you ask them to, like, how many of you guys know or have a family member that have skin or have had cancer in their life? And you can still relate it back to skin cancer, because it is a possibility that, it can metastasize to other organs, and it could develop elsewhere. All you have to do is just sit out in the sun, and it's so easily preventable.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I've gone out golfing and like applied sunscreen at the start of my round, and then forgot after 9 or something like that, and I still end up sunburnt. I'm like, when I get sunburnt, I get headaches. My body doesn't regulate super well. I get migraines, and I start like conking out like ridiculously quickly.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
So yeah, it's that sort of thing you really got to watch out for. Like, it can have immediate side effects, even not considering the long-term effects of skin cancer. Like, you got to watch your body. And developing sunburns, like, it's the most common way that people develop skin cancer, because it doubles your risk. And people don't think about it, and especially golfers are like the one, like, they're out in the sun for hours, and they typically forget to put or to reapply. So I've actually I have had a lot of friends who played golf, and they've they've gotten burnt, and then they start developing these moles and whatnot, but not cancer yet. But I mean, we're only 20 in our 20s, so you can only imagine 20 years from now what they evolve to. Chevrolet with the rate of 11 people. Thank you so much for coming to our charity stream. We're just doing small talk with Ashley, who's an issue speaker. She's been talking about skin cancer. Unfortunately, we're just about wrapping up the interview, but I'm going to put the interviews up in highlights. So if you guys want to hear about some effective ways to mitigate the effects of skin cancer on your body, like, you should stick around. Actually, at this point, Ashley, I'd like to open it up to a Q&A.
Sure.
Gator Dude also rated with a party of 16. Get hyped, guys.
Wow, that's awesome.
So we just got 27 new people just joined our chat right now. Unfortunately, you all just missed the interview, but double raid Pog. All right. So, at this point, I want to open up to a Q&A. So, if any of you have any questions that you want to ask our good friend Ashley from ACS CAN about skin cancer prevention, about its effects, about concerns that you might have about skin cancer, or just general questions about American Cancer Society or ACS CAN, now is a good time to ask them. Crombo, what's up? You just changed your name, dude. How's it going? So yeah, does anyone have any questions?
I guess it's a good thing. That means it was pretty simple and easy.
Yep. Crombo just subscribed at tier 1. Pog, dude. I'm loving it. Enjoy your Pog, dude. You can now spam Pog. Spam that Pog emote. I'm a 3-month subscriber to myself. Oh my gosh, I've been doing affiliate tier for 3 months now. Alright.
Oh my gosh.
Ashley, I don't think anyone has any follow-up questions. So I
Perfect.
have one super easy question for you. It's the same one I asked everyone else. I am giving everyone who has been speaking on behalf of American Cancer Society oh, never mind. My wife just asked, well, I was eating dinner, so I'm sorry if you said, but there are a couple Reef safe sunscreens. Is there any potential for legislation supporting these?
So basically anything that's physical, like a physical based sunscreen. So anything mineral based, so zinc oxide, titanium oxide. Typically those are like, I know Sunbum I believe is like that, but there are a ton. And even like brands like Banana Boat or those common ones you see at CVS or Long's. They're more of the lotion type of sunscreen. Those are the ones you want to purchase because those are the ones that are zinc oxide based. The ones that are in spray bottles or the ones that tell you, oh, it's easy, sand off, or it's 100 SPF and all this kind of stuff. Those are the ones you kind of want to avoid just because the chemical ones are going to be banned soon, very soon. And you also, you want to prevent, you want to make sure it's reef safe and good for our coral reef. But as for any specific brand, I don't think it matters. I think as long as it just it's mineral based, right?
All right. So basically, just know what to look out for when the chemical sunscreens go away.
Yep. Well, I think it's gonna. I mean, it should be. I really don't know how they're gonna do it. They're just gonna take all of it off the shelf starting 2021, or if they're gonna bring more zinc oxide based sunscreens in on the shelves, or what's going to happen. But I think it's going to be a hard switch for a lot of people, just because a lot of people have been used to the chemical based sunscreens. I'm sorry.
Good night, Chevrolet. Yeah, that's a good point. And my wife said she's an avid diver and reefs are her personal love. I know she wants to go see the Great Barrier Reef as soon as she can. So.
Oh, that's awesome! I'm jealous.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous too, but I'm also deathly afraid of the water. So.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so my last question for you is: I'm giving all the speakers a free song request, and any of the challenges to modify that song request. And since I think we're just about done with the interview portion, I'd like to ask what you would like to have played.
I was thinking about this, and I really don't have a specific song because I was going to tell you just surprise me.
Okay. Whoops. Done with that song.
I mean, I've seen you for the past hour just jam out these intensely like painful looking hard songs. So,
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll pick the song. You just got to pick the challenge. How's that sound?
All right, I'm probably just gonna be easy and just tell you to switch hands.
Switch hands. Okay. I'll do. I'll pick a hard song, and I'll switch hands for it.
Sounds good.
We're gonna do. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I'm gonna do YYZ by Rush. I'm gonna do it. Switch hands.